Hello. I don't know why this isn't working. But hello. Come on in. Getting some. My face is was just not feeling good this weekend. So that means I need to steam. I actually need to exfoliate. So I'm going to do some mild exfoliation with a bamboo washcloth. I've got my electrolytes here in my manifesting cup. I am a certified cash money magnet. Ah, got some liquid IV in there, lemon lime, some mint, lemon, and ginger. So we get all hydrated and electrified and all of that good stuff. So I got my steamer pointed at my face. I've got my cream cleanser on as a mask. And I wanted to come on and chat about 2026 outlook, the 2026 outlook. I spent last week and actually I should make sure you can hear me. I spent last week in a 5-day challenge. I'm joining a new mastermind for 2026 and got a lot of things accomplished in terms of outlook. And this isn't the first time that I've looked at 2026 and have planned 2026. So this was more of a refining that has happened um, over the course of the 5 days. I went back to where I got my digital marketing and email marketing certification from, and they are always ahead, and I like to be ahead. And so we are in sync on a lot of things. So let's just make sure you can hear me. Can you hear me? Yep, you can hear me. Okay, I wanted to make sure the mic was on because sometimes you can hear me even if the mic isn't on. So um, let's shut that down. Even if the mic isn't on. So um, let's shut it down. I'll just close it because I got so many tabs open. I can't tell. I can't locate the tab that I had open. So anyway, so yeah, so I went back to my ultimate source. My ultimate, first of all, my ultimate source is myself, right? Because I've got over 33 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. So the ultimate source is myself, right? But I also believe in the power of the mastermind, right? And one of the reasons I was talking to my really good friend down in Nashville about this, and one of the reasons I really believe in the power of the mastermind is we often have imposter syndrome, and so we believe that we have some hesitations around being in the room and whether or not we belong in the room. And every time I'm in the room, one of the things I quickly discover is that, yeah, hell yeah, I belong in the room. I am the room, right? They typically are not any smarter than you. They typically are not any better at what you do. They're often very mediocre. They often don't know a lot. But what they have is they've been leveraged by someone. So they have connection. They have resources and access that you don't have. And so when you get in the room, while you may not get it to the magnitude that they have it, I tend to always be able to level up by being in the room and getting, tapping into that access and the whole co-regulation, the whole co-creation piece. So I love to be in the room from that standpoint. The other thing is, like I said, they provide me with a lot of tools and resources that I use and leverage in my business, which makes it easier for me to do business and serve. Um, so I'm really excited about this new mastermind that I am joining. They've actually reconfigured and revamped a lot of stuff. And so it's just going to help me achieve what it is that I want to achieve in 2026. It's going to help me to serve my clients at a new level because the market is shifting. Things are shifting. They're shifting very, very quickly. And It's like everything is basically being dismantled and disrupted and rebuilt, right? And so I always look at it, because I've been around for a while. I always look at it as like, you can fight it, you can complain about it, you can whine about it, or you can leverage it. You can use it to up level. You can use it to elevate yourself. You can use it to create overflow, because you have to look at the opportunity and not what is being lost. And when you look at the people who are successful, you look at the people who have what you want, who have achieved what you want to achieve, who live the desired state that you want to live. That is one thing that they're really good at. They are good at adapting. They're good at spotting the opportunities and getting in flow and matching the frequency of the opportunities versus fighting it and resisting it. Now, there are things that we should be resisting. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about that stuff. There are things we should definitely be resisting. I have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to human rights, when it comes to human dignity, and things like that. I'm talking about, yes, seeking the opportunity and participating in the opportunity. However, I'm speaking about it from a point of doing it with dignity, doing it with morals, doing it, in a non exploitive of way. Like, if you listen to the language that I use, I talk about serving clients, right? Not exploiting clients. Speaking of, I signed a new VIP client yesterday, so I'm excited. We have her session booked, and the VIP clients have just been coming and flowing, and that is one of the things that I will tell you when I look at 2026, and I look at, because I haven't said the words yet on this live, what I'm talking about. A lot of the change and the shift is because of AI, right? Amazon has made another bold statement about how many jobs they are letting go, and that, and the reality is AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So I have chosen to learn it and to leverage it, and it is paying off for me, right? I used to have to really work hard to get VIP clients, but since I've been using AI to assist me with my marketing and be able to do more than what I'm able to do on my own and not have to outlay money to hire someone for some of these things, I have been drawing in some really good aligned high end VIP clients like regularly, and they're coming to me. I don't have to hunt them down. I don't have to beg them to work with me. I don't have to stalk them, annoy them into working with me. My marketing is doing the job for me, and that is why they hire me, because my marketing is bringing them to me and they want to be able to do what it is that I do to draw their clients to them, right? Because AI is forcing some shifts, okay? AI is forcing us to be more human, that is your competitive advantage in a world of AI, is to be human. And I don't mean just because we woke up, we're human. I mean, humanize your brand. Be human when you are on social media, right? Interact with people. Be for real. Be who you really are, and not be robotic, not do copy and paste. It's about showing up authentically as who you are, and being, you know, professional is definitely going to be coming back. Some people believe that. Here's the thing: a lot of what I'm hearing from different gurus out there has always been the truth for me. I never chased trends. It was always about building my email list. It was always about, um, you know, a lot of the core fundamentals, right? And so that stuff is not new to me. None of this is new, right? But I also realized a lot of the gurus just haven't been around the block enough. They haven't been through enough cycles like I have, right? Because I've got over 22 years of corporate experience, Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies, very small companies, mom and pop. I've worked a wide variety of industries and sizes of companies. So I have a wealth of corporate and real world experience on top of double master's degrees, right? So I understand I have this vantage point that not everyone else has. And so being able to bring that, but still be very human and speak to who I really am. One of the things that I will tell you that people, not people, but clients who are interested in working with me and who have chosen to work with me, that I am hearing, they love seeing the content of my family, seeing my grandchildren, seeing my parents and nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews, siblings, children. They love to see that content from me because it makes me relatable, right? They love hearing my story, right? One of the big things that came out of the mastermind last week, which was a um, a lingering thought in my head for quite a while, is community is the new brand and identity is the new niche. And yes, you still are the brand, you are the content, you are the algorithm, you are the niche, right? Don't get me wrong. But when I say you, it's your identity. It's what makes you you that is the niche. And that is what you need to bring to social media. That is the humanization of your brand. You chatting, right? Me sitting here steaming my face with my hyaluronic acid cream cleanser on and steaming my face is the humanization of my brand. I'm not selling you skincare. I sell a lot of skincare, hundreds of thousands, by the way. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. We're just talking about marketing and business in the 2026 outlook. So that is one big thing that I want you to know for 2026 is it's all about humanizing your brand. And it's not new. I'm going to admit that. It's not new. It is what it is, right? I see people hopping on and off because y'all are still looking for a magic bullet. You're still looking for a golden ticket, and that is not what it's about. It's about you are what you repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is a habit. It is a decision. It is what you repeatedly do, repeatedly, right? I was on a mastermind call or some sort of call last week, and there are people who always love to chime in after I speak. They always have to try to one up me. They always have to try to bandwagon. They always have to try to hitch to my star. And the word consistency came up, and I'm like, no, it's not just about consistency because you can consistently do the wrong thing over and over again, right? It's about doing what is doing the right thing in the right way, right? It's frequency, right? When it comes to social media, it's frequency because you can consistently only post for once a month. That's not going to do it, right? And I'm not of the you need to post 100,000 times a day bandwagon. I'm not of that mind frame. I'm not going to tell you to do that. But you do need to post a minimum number of times a day, especially to get off of the ground. You're going to have to figure it out, right? Because it's about compressing and collapsing time. And to compress and collapse that time, you have to put a lot of muscle, a lot of effort. You have to put a lot of time, energy, and focus in a small period of time to create the momentum. I'm going to say it otra vez again. In order to create momentum, you have to do a lot of activity in a contracted period of time. You have to do a lot of focused, energized, clear, strategic activity in a contracted period of time. If you don't, the plane does not get off the ground, right? I was talking to someone about this yesterday, and one of the things that people don't realize is when a agency or a influencer or whomever can make a video go viral almost instantly, it's not by happenstance. It's because they've created so many videos that they know exactly what to do and what to test and how to fine tune it in order to get it to go viral. And on their main account where you're seeing it go viral, you don't know that they've tested it on other accounts before it hit the main account. Now, there are some out there who will talk about it and share that publicly, others won't, right? Because it's still capitalism and you still have to maintain your competitive edge. There are a lot of enhancements and advancements. We are in a period of advancement and elevation. And those advancements and those elevations are going to lead to a lot of overflow. Okay. That overflow is going to come with a lot of responsibility. That overflow is going to come with a lot of accountability and transparency. Okay. But we are in a period of a lot of advancements. 2026 is going to be a leap year for a lot of people. 2026 is going to be a breakthrough and leap year for a lot of people. Okay. Why? Because there are advancements. There were so many things announced last week. Canva had their big keynote, and there's a lot of things happening with Canva. There were some Chat GPT advancements last week. Like DoorDash is now having a creator program focused on local restaurants and businesses. Okay. So there are a lot of advancements, and those advancements always lead to opportunity. And that is why identity is the new niche. And you being able to get in where you fit in and share yourself and your life and your business is where the sweet spot is. It's where those things all intersect, right? Your ideal client is the intersection of several identities. And one of the things that I hear a lot, like too much, is a newbie, a novice, a entrepreneur. They always want to go as broad as possible with their ideal client. And that is a mistake. 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 Right? That is ouch. That is a mistake. I heard I'm gonna always. That is a mistake because we live like Gary Vee wrote Jab, 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 Right Hook, probably 2012, 2011. I think I first got my hands on it in 2013, 2014. And the whole premise of that book is the marketplace is noisy, right? It used to be that Times Square was noisy, but because of the proliferation of the internet, everywhere is noisy, right? In order to stand out and grab that attention, the quickest and easiest way to do that is to speak to the hearts and minds of people. And how you speak to the heart and mind of your perfect ideal client is to make them feel seen, heard, known, and acknowledged. And how you do that is by connection through identity, right? Connection through identity. And your ideal client is the intersection of a lot of different identities. So as you are speaking and putting your message out, just because you're speaking to the single moms in this one post doesn't mean that the other working moms who don't happen to be single are not going to catch on to what you're saying and want information. I am a very single woman, and I do attract a lot of clients who are married. Uh-huh, yes, I do. Despite what they try to sell y'all about how married women and single women shouldn't be able to get along, and why would you listen to a single woman? Hmm. And I'll be honest with you, that's not just true business wise. Married women come to me for advice all the time because it's about discernment, it's about dignity, it's about integrity, right? So your ideal client is the intersection of multiple identities. Your ideal client is not just this one little identifier. You have to be able to speak to the different facets of their life. And that is how you grab their attention in the first 3 to 8 seconds, really 3 to 6 seconds, 3 to 5. In the first 3 to 5 seconds is through that identity. We are entering identity marketing, right? Why? Because community is the new brand. And as the world turns, as the world becomes more divided, as the world, as we are seeing right now, with today is November 3rd, and the whole SNAP benefit thing, right? We're not here to talk politics, we're here to talk business, right? It always goes down to the money, right? And so as we're seeing with that, communities are rallying to support families and children in need. It's about community. As more and more things like this happen, and they're not going to stop anytime soon, what you're going to see rise up and be of importance is community. A person without community in 2026 is not going to make it out alive. I'm just going to be very, very real with you. Same with 2020. You know what happened in 2020. If you didn't have community, if you didn't quickly build community, you were going to struggle and have a really hard time. It's going to be even more magnified in 2026. You have to build and have community. And you need that community both online and offline. Both online and offline, right? DoorDash, with their creative program focusing on local restaurants and businesses, is proving what I have been saying, right? What you can do offline, you can do online. And what you can do offline, you can do what you do online, you can do offline. What you do offline, you can do online. I've gotten on here and I've told y'all, and I've got multiple pieces of content where I talk about why our local business is so hateful of the internet. They should be leveraging it as their friends, and they don't, right? So, DoorDash getting those local reviews and that local content, it's going to help more people pick local restaurants. And they're very adamant. Don't you dare submit no chain restaurant stuff to them. No national chain. They're not here for it. They want the local, the small business, the small mom and pop, right? So 2026 is going to be a year of opportunity. It's going to be a year of elevation. It's going to be a year of um, it's going to be a year of overflow, right? But it's going to come with responsibility. It's going to come with accountability. If you don't have those two things, it's going to be tough. It'll be real, real tough. Let's run this one more time. Let's run this one more time, right? In community, I cannot stress community enough. I've been saying it for years. Community is the new brand. Community is the new brand. And now we're seeing. Now we're seeing. It's interesting to see a lot of the things that I've been saying for the past several years. Some as long as all the way back to 2013. Seeing them come to fruition, and some of them are coming back full circle. They were always there, and that's the thing about some of these gurus and stuff that y'all listen to, right? Just because a platform pushes something doesn't mean the other thing is dead. They all are still there, and they all still can and will work and are working. It's just that in this moment, that's what they're pushing right now. And that's the problem with chasing the algorithm instead of being the algorithm. That's the problem with chasing the algorithm instead of being the algorithm. Is you lose. This is good. When you are chasing the algorithm, you forget who you are. You forget who you serve. That's the first point of the luminary path. What the framework I take my ideal clients through, right? The luminary path. There's the divine 9 questions, right? And the first question is, who are you? And it's a twofold question. Who are you as a person? Who are you as a provider or a brand? Who are you? Who are you to your clients? Not who you want to be. Who are you to your clients, right? You have to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you're going to struggle. You're going to be whatever everybody else tells you who you are, right? And there could be a gap between who you are as a brand and who you are to the client, what the client thinks of you. There can be a gap. And before we create a funnel, we need to close that gap. This is what I help my clients with in either the Luminary Path or a VIP day session. The Luminary Path is us working together one-on-one, anywhere from 4 weeks to 6 months, one-on-one, right? And so we have to know who you are. But when you're not the algorithm, when you're not the brand, when you're not the content, your identity is constantly shifting, and not the identity shift that we want it to shift to. It's just it's I'm trying to think of an analogy. It's just shaping on its own, right? And you have no control over it. And if you don't have any control over it, you don't have any control over your revenue. You have no control over client acquisition, over lead acquisition. So you have to know who you are and stay true to who you are. When I remember saying this back in like 2014, 2015, when I really figured out who my ideal client was, it helped me figure out more of who I was, and it helped me figure out who I was not. And most importantly, it helped me be able to know quickly who my ideal client was not and be okay with it. The reason that you think anyone in tech, anyone with skin is your ideal client is desperation. It's scarcity mindset. You want it to sound abundant, but it's actually scarcity mindset. It's scarcity mindset telling you that if you don't say everyone, you might miss a client, and you're not going to. What is to be for you is to be for you. They're still going to, you can't miss it. You cannot hook it up. You will not miss. But when you're not the algorithm, you're constantly trying to change your identity to appease the algorithm instead of focusing on your ideal clients, which is what I've always talked, regardless of trends and virality and all of that. It's always, for me, my students, my clients, been about who do you serve? They are the nucleus of everything that you do. They are the bullseye. They are the center of that bullseye. Who do you serve? Who do you serve? Right? And we talked about conversation as the new lead all the way back into 2018. But the way to get to the conversation in 2026 is through identity. The way to get to the conversation is through community, right? That's why memes did so well many years ago, not many years ago, a few years ago, is because memes were relatable. If you could make a meme and make that meme relatable, where people could look at that and they could get it, that's what made them share it, and that's what would make it go viral, right? All of this simply just means, that's why the customer is at the center, the bullseye. It all just means that the customer is the power broker, as they should be. Why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't the customer be the focal point? They're supposed to be, right? Doesn't mean they're always right. Doesn't mean you have to take abuse from them, right? Like I told someone a few weeks ago, you do not have to create an entirely new system or do business in a way that you don't do business to appease one person outside of accessibility. You know what I mean when I say accessibility? But if you are a tech driven business, why are you trying to adjust to attract non techie people? And we're not going to go with these stereotypes and tropes of, yeah, but older people. No, there are plenty of older people. Technically, I guess I'm older. I'm going to be 52 in January. Pretty tech savvy. No, no, I'm putting off getting that iPhone 17 because I'm going to have to learn some things. But yeah, pretty tech savvy, right? Lots of people are pretty tech savvy, right? The guy who created the design for the PT Cruiser was like in his 60s or 70s when he designed that car. So, we got to stop stereotyping and using our own limiting beliefs to limit the ideal client, to limit the lead, right? But if you are a tech driven company, why are you trying to do and attract people in a non tech way? You're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for headache when you do that. You have to know who it is that you serve at the core and do everything to attract them and repel the ones who don't. That's why a good video sales letter is going to say, or a sales page in general is going to say who this is for, who this is not for. You want to repel. As much as your job is to attract your ideal client, your job is equally to repel who is not your ideal client. Right? What do I mean? Tamira, what do you mean when you say that? If you are selling nutritional shakes, nutritional products, your job is not to convince the person who says that it's witchcraft, demonic. Your job is not to attract the person who doesn't believe in that. Your job is not to convert them. If here's another example, if you are a follower of the carnivore diet, your job is not to convert the vegan, and vice versa. If you are a vegan health focused practitioner or coach or whatever, your job is not to convert the carnivore or the keto. Now, I know a lot of people want to do that. I mean, if that's your true mission, go ahead. It's just going to be a harder struggle. If you want, my thing that I work with in the luminary path with my clients is to create a business that brings them joy and comes from ease and flow. And I don't know, the people I run into who are interested in working with me, I was my very own first best client, just so we all know. And that working with people with resistance was not the vibe. It was so not the vibe to be pushing, pulling, and dragging people who didn't want to be there, people who were resisting, right? I did not want to be dealing with people who were not the vibe, people who didn't believe what I already believed. I didn't want that. Resistance is what will make you hate your business and want to quit your business. That resistance makes your business not fun, not enjoyable, and it knocks you out of alignment. And when you're out of alignment, the leads dry up, you don't elevate, you don't escalate, you don't experience overflow, the customers dry up, you begin to experience customer attrition instead of acquiring, because you are out of alignment, because you are busy trying to convert and be a savior. That's that has a place in the customer journey. There is a place for that in the customer journey, but it's not where a lot of you place it. And it should be not a huge piece of what your efforts are because of the expenditure and time, resources, including and especially money it takes to convert somebody very, very far from where they are, right? So when it comes to your ideal client, you need to know that they have various not only stages of awareness, but they need to be ready to work with you. If they're not ready to work with you, right? If they don't believe in apps and your delivery is through an app, they're not your ideal client, right? If you want to have them scan a QR code and you're a very tech driven company and you want them to scan a QR code to get your freebie or sign up for your list or your raffle or whatever at an event, and they don't want to do that, how difficult do you think it's going to be working with them and you are a very tech driven company? They're not even going to know how to use this stuff. You're going to spend time having to teach them how to use it. That's not okay. That is not what you are here to do. And you know why? Because not only is it out of alignment, it's keeping you and delaying you getting to your perfect ideal client. The opportunity and the client that's going to change everything. That was one of the first lessons I had to learn. Stop trying to bring everybody with me. Everybody ain't meant to go with you where you're going. And some of the people closest to you are actually not meant to go with you where you're going. Whew, that was a tough one. That was tough. But it's just the reality of it. It can be lonely, right? But if you do, and we work through this process of the divine 9 questions in the luminary path, you won't be lonely for long. You won't be lonely for long. You will have an overflow of leads, right? You will have an overflow of opportunity. You will have an overflow of customers. You will just exist in overflow. You will get paid to exist. You will get paid for being you, because that's what all of this is about. It is about getting paid to exist. It is about operating in a way that finding what brings you joy and being who brings you joy, and attracting, you know what I'm talking about, attracting that ease and flow and monetizing. It's so simple. It's so simple. It ain't easy, but it's simple, right? It ain't easy, but it's simple. So I think I'm going to open this and let it cool a little bit, because I have my towel in the towel warmer here. My towel, top. Let that cool off a little bit because it gets hot. And I didn't bring tongs. I forgot to grab the tongs out of the kitchen. So we will. So it feels so good when you have sinus problems. And this time of year, I'm a little stuffy because it was cold. I knocked the chill out, and then I was hot and all of that. So, ooh, that's hot. Wee doggy. I'm going to say it again. Identity is the new niche, because and think of it like this. Broadly, we can say you are the niche, right? But then we got to go 8 layers deep at least. I think I went 20 this weekend. 8 layers deep. Who are you? Keep asking and keep asking and keep asking, right? Because here's what happens when you don't go 8 layers deep. You get a little bit of success and then you get stuck again because you didn't go deep enough, right? So you got to go a minimum of 8 layers deep. I like to do 12, 15, 17, 20, right? So you go 8 layers deep on who are you, and you won't run out of people to talk to, because you have multiple identities, right? I'm the oldest daughter, the eldest firstborn granddaughter, firstborn niece. Ooh, that feels good. I raised my children on my own. I was a single mom, right? Yes, I had family support. Financially, nobody took care of them babies but me, right? I first person in my family to get a 4-year college degree in my direct line, right? I am an educated woman. I'm a discerning woman. I am a high achieving woman, right? So I just listed like what 7 or 8 identities right there, right? Some of you may be the black sheep. You may be the scapegoat in your family, the family dynamic. You got to go 8, 10, 12, 20 layers deep of who you are, and be able to speak to that and show up as that and own that. I am healing. That is part of my identity. I am healing, right? That is part of your identity, right? See, we've always thought of niche as just, you know, forum, family, occupation, religion. I forgot what the U was, marital status and all that. No, who are you at the core? What do you believe? Because that's where you get a lot of attention online with hot takes. What do you believe? What do you know and believe to be true? Hot takes, right? Hot takes. Those hot takes will help you get that attention. But if you look at those hot takes and you assess those hot takes are typically centered around identity, right? Threads right now. I figured this out months ago. Months ago. When you can nail the identities of your ideal client and speak out into the void of them on threads, you will win. 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 Okay? Identity on threads is huge. It's just part of the schema. Okay? So we put in some serum. And I love this thing. I had to order some more eye patches. Need to order those ASAP. And you get lymphatic drainage when you do this too. Oh, it feels good. And with sinuses really hitting in here, and for me, like the center and the bridge of the nose, drain that. Drain that. And then sculpt the face. Okay. So I use a lot of products with hyaluronic acid. So I like to kind of mist in between stages. We've got some collagen here, more hyaluronic acid and collagen. Pack that into the skin. That's what I need to order collagen too. I need to order collagen. Okay. So 2026 going to be a standout major year for a lot of folks if they can identify who they are and use that to call in the opportunities. 2026 is going to change lives. It's going to change trajectories. It's going to change families, right? This is like that gold rush era that everybody always wishes for, right? There's so much opportunity. All right. Speaking of threads, this makes me think of this particular thread I saw. Everybody on threads don't know what they're talking about. People say some craziness on threads too. They really do. So keep that in mind. But there's also some really good stuff over on threads too. There we go. It's 2 different moisturizers, like a pump and a half of that. And really push that onto the skin. So identity is the new niche. Identity. I cannot stress that enough. You are the niche, right? But it's not just enough to say you are the niche. I'm going to have to add this to the blog. You are the niche. What are the identities of your ideal client? And how do those identities match up with your identities for you to show up authentically online? Well, that's good. That's good. When you do that, you will collapse time. That's how you collapse time. You want to really collapse time, you really want a quantum leap, you'll work with me in the luminary path. And baby, we will have that time just folding over onto itself, folding over. I got the code. I got the quantum code. Okay. I got the quantum code. So we got the face feeling all good. It is 11:15. We are going to get ready to go so I can order some lunch and get going with the rest of the day. Okay. So we're just going to quickly recap and then call it a day. Make sure if you are not, you hit my face up there and you follow. I have a slew of resources at the LINK and my BIO. Okay. Identity is the new niche. Community is the new brand. Conversation is the new lead. The customer is the new power broker. And your ideal client is the intersection of several identities. And it is up to you to match up those identities with your own identity. See, because people, I'm going to go on a tangent. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I see the mistake I see a lot of people make is they want to create an identity to match the identities of their ideal client. And that is where they mess up. You don't have to create it. You got to go 8 layers deep or more on both your own identity, your brand's identity, and the identity of the ideal client, and find where things intersect and overlap. And that is how you call them forth. Okay? That's how you call them forth. And again, it's how you collapse time. And if you want to quantumly collapse time, you will work with me in the luminary path. Okay. I am going to go so I can get my food ordered, and I will chat with you later. Bye.